Hi everyone, welcome to another weekly Forex forecast for the week ending June 5th, 2020. My name is Justin Bennett with Daily Price Action, and in today's forecast we're going to talk about the EURUSD, the Pound USD, the Dollar Yen, the New Zealand Dollar, as well as gold or XAUUSD. Markets are still consolidating at the moment, but something tells me that for pairs like the Dollar Yen, that's about to change. So let's get to it right now. Quick disclaimer that today's video is for educational purposes only. All views are my opinion and are not intended as investment advice. Forex is a high reward, high risk business, and you should not trade with borrowed money or money you cannot afford to lose. See the description of this video for the full disclaimer. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also click the bell icon so you get notified every time I post these videos. Also check out the join button where you can become a member of this channel and receive 5 to 10 analysis videos from me every single week. I'll show you the key levels I'm watching and how I'm approaching that pair, so you'll get trade ideas from those videos, but you're also going to learn how I trade price action, and that's going to make you a better trader. First up, we have the EURUSD, and this area around 111 is something that I talked about last week, where it's the intersection of two resistance levels. So we have two ascending channels here, and neither of these channels are incredibly well defined. However, I still think that this area around 111 could play a factor going forward. Now, if you notice, Friday's session did close above that area. If I drill down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see where it's still serving as support. So notice back here, these two levels served as resistance and then it flipped to support. So as of right now, based on Friday's close, it looks like the 111 area is still serving as support, despite this aggressive pullback on Friday. Now, it's all going to depend on where Monday opens though, because in market conditions like these, whenever you get volatility, it all depends on where the market opens. Volume tends to thin out on Fridays right before the close, so it's hard to tell if this close up here is going to stand or if Monday might open well below that area. So Monday's open is going to be critical here to see how the pair reacts to this 111 area. Now, I told members last week in the forums that I was selling the EURUSD at 111.38. So I got in up here simply because we had this 2-day rally that covered about 150 pips with absolutely no pullback. Furthermore, we were rallying above this confluence of resistance, which told me that a pullback was likely. So I entered near the top of this candle, and so far that position is in profit. But like I said, it's all going to depend on where Monday opens. If we open below the 111 area and that region serves as resistance, I'll go ahead and keep the trade. However, if I see the market start to trend higher up toward my entry and take out Friday's high, I'll go ahead and get out for a small loss. If the EURUSD can stay above 111, you're going to want to keep an eye on Friday's high, and if it can get above that, we could be looking at a rally toward 112 or just above it. All right, so there are several highs and lows back through this 112 area. Notice back here where we had this high, we then had this low, and then two highs through here. So if we can get above 111 with Monday's open, and we also clear Friday's high, that could take us up toward 112, maybe 112.20. Alternatively, if we see Monday open below 111 and that area starts to serve as resistance, keep an eye on 109.90, which is a confluence of support, with a break there taking us back to the 109 area. Just keep in mind that all of this is still a sideways market. If we look at the monthly time frame, we still have this multi-year wedge pattern that's playing out. And furthermore, notice how the last few months have just been moving sideways. So even though it looks like we're trending on the daily time frame, right now all of this between 107 and 111 is simply just sideways movement. So until we break out of this range, it's going to be difficult to catch any kind of momentum. Just like most of the FX market, the pound continues to trade sideways. So we had this break below the 122 area, and we then broke back above it. We then had another close below it and a close above it. So as of right now, the pound is pretty much directionless. It's not something I'm trading. I think there are better opportunities out there. However, if we take a look at the intersection of these two levels, so we have this support level back here, and we also have the bottom of this descending channel that I've been talking about now for weeks. So the intersection of these two levels comes in right around 125. So even though we could see further strength over the coming sessions, anything below 125 could struggle to gain momentum. All right, if we see a daily close above 125, that would be different and could take us up to the top of this channel somewhere around 128. All All right, but as long as 125 is intact as resistance, I continue to like the idea of selling the pound at higher prices. Now, of course, it's going to depend on what kind of price action we get at 125 if we do get there. So this is something I'm keeping an eye on right now, but I'm not trading the pound. I don't usually trade the pound simply because I don't like the way it moves, but I do think that 125 is an area to keep an eye on over the coming sessions if we do see further strength from the pound. Alternatively, if we start to take out some of these lows, that would obviously indicate weakness and could take us down to 120. But again, I have to caution everybody here because just like the euro, we're seeing a lot of sideways movement and not a lot of momentum. So be careful with these markets anytime you get sideways movement like this. And one way to track that is with the DXY or any US dollar index. Because right now the DXY has been moving sideways for weeks, and until that breaks out, pairs like the EURUSD, the pound, the dollar yen, etc. are going to be a little bit more difficult to trade. So I just talked about the dollar yen on Friday, so I'll make this quick. I've been buying the dollar yen ever since it was back here in anticipation of a break from this falling wedge pattern. So as you can see, we did get that breakout on this candle. We then had a retest of the 106.90 area. Now, ever since that time, we've just seen sideways movement, right? Just like the EURUSD, the pound USD, we're seeing a lot of sideways movement from these majors. However, late last week, we did get an inside bar on Thursday, followed by a bullish pin bar on Friday. So this was a clear rejection of the area between 106.90 and 107.30. I wrote about that area on Wednesday, and as you can see, after putting in a low at 107.08, we got that nice rally on Friday. So there are two ways to approach this in the coming week. Either look for a 50% retracement of Friday's candle for a potential buying entry somewhere just above 107.30, or wait for a daily close above 108/10. All right, so 108/10 has been resistance now for several months, and it's going to take a daily close above that in order to expose 109/30. And keep in mind too that 109 is the top of that multi-year wedge. So this is something that we've also been tracking now for over a month, where 106 is support and 109 is resistance. So until we get a breakout of this wedge on a monthly closing basis, the dollar yen is also consolidating. Notice how back here we did get these wicks on the monthly time frame, but the dollar yen never closed beyond this pattern. All of this through here is just consolidation. The pair is coiling for its next move. And as I've said recently, I would not be surprised at all if this ends up being a continuation pattern based on this 5,000 pip rally between 2012 and 2015. If it is, anticipate a monthly close above resistance to take the dollar yen much higher. Alternatively, obviously a monthly close below wedge support would negate that idea and could send the dollar yen back to some of these recent lows. So in summary, even though I'm still in the dollar yen long, this is all in anticipation of a larger breakout. So be careful trading these markets until we get a break of consolidation, because again, momentum is going to be difficult to come by. I'm simply getting in this one early just in case we do get a break of that multi-year wedge, so I can add to that position in an aggressive way. All right, but again, everything between 106 and 109 on the dollar yen is just consolidation. The New Zealand dollar is at a huge resistance area right now. So 62 is something that I mentioned first in early April, and I've been waiting for a retest of this 62 area ever since. The reason for that has to do with the monthly time frame. So notice how on the monthly we have this multi-year wedge pattern, which is similar to the EURUSD. So 62 is the bottom of this wedge, which should act as resistance. So if we move over to the daily time frame, you can see where we have this rising wedge pattern on the daily, and the top of this pattern was retested on several occasions last week. So the area between 62 and 62.50 I still like as resistance. However, we've yet to see bearish momentum from the New Zealand dollar, and especially a break below that short-term trend line. So for the week ahead, I still like 62/50 as resistance, with a move below some of these recent highs right around 61.50, indicating further weakness and also exposing that short-term trend line. So if we do clear this consolidation that we've had recently, that could take the New Zealand dollar lower. So just like everything else, all of this through here is consolidation. So even though you can look for entries up here, you might want to keep your position size small while we're in consolidation, because you can always add more later if we do start to see follow through from sellers. Alternatively, if we start to close above that 6250 area, that would indicate strength and could at least delay this entire bearish outlook. So last up, we have gold, or XAUUSD. These are two patterns I've been talking about now for weeks. So we have this wedge pattern, and we also then have a recent descending channel. So I've talked about both of these recently, and I was talking about this in the members forum when we got this retest of wedge support. So notice how we broke below the top of this wedge pattern. However, we then recovered on a 4-hour basis. Now, I talked about this right here in the members area and said that this indicates strength, and sure enough, we got a nice pop higher on Friday. We also cleared the top of this descending channel. So going forward, this level just above 1700 should continue to attract buyers. And if gold can push higher next week, look for a retest of that area between 1750 and 1760. Get through that and gold could be on to 1800. However, just keep in mind that this market is getting a bit overextended. Ever since we had this liquidation event back here, and we got this huge plunge followed by this V-shaped recovery, gold really hasn't had much of a pullback. So even though I think we could move higher next week up towards 1750/60, do keep in mind that we could see further weakness from gold. All right, but as long as this uptrend is intact, I continue to favor buying dips or breakouts of patterns just like we had on Friday from that descending channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, leave your comment below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.